The text from Dave arrived at 9:47 p.m. while I was debugging code for the 1,000th time that day. Tall guy just came by, wife in black lingerie, thought you should know. Below it, a photo that made my coffee mug slip from my fingers and shatter against my office floor. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Neil Carter, and I'm about to tell you how I destroyed 2 lives without breaking a single law. I stared at my phone screen, watching the image burn itself into my retinas. There was my wife Jenna, answering our front door in the expensive black lingerie set I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. The same set she'd claimed was Mas #1. Standing behind her in our hallway was Ethan Brandt, 6'2" of gym-sculpted arrogance, his shirt already half unbuttoned. "2. I muttered to my empty office. 3. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd been working late again, trying to fix a server crash that had kept half of Cleveland's accounting firms offline for 3 days. Meanwhile, my wife of 6 years was playing dress-up for our neighbor's husband, the same Ethan who'd lectured me about real men taking care of their women at last month's block party. I grabbed my keys and headed for the parking garage, my mind racing through the past few months. Jenna's new perfume, her sudden interest in evening Pilates classes, the way she'd flip her phone face down whenever I walked into a room, all those late-night conversations with her friend Mandy about, God, I'd been such an idiot. Dave Rizzo lived 3 houses down from us, a divorced HVAC technician with a sharp tongue and sharper eyes. He'd been watching out for me since his own wife had cheated with their mailman 2 years ago. 6. He'd told me over beers, you can't unsee them. I pulled into our driveway and saw Ethan's silver BMW parked 2 houses down, trying to look casual. My hands shook as I texted Dave. 8. His reply came instantly. 9. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, watching the lights in our bedroom window, planning. By the time I typed my response, I was stone-cold calm. 10. 11. I parked 2 blocks away and circled back through the Hendersons' yard, using my spare key. The house was quiet except for soft music upstairs. Jenna's playlist. Dave texted, 12. Pounding on the front door like thunder, Dave's voice boomed. Gas leak emergency! I need to inspect all houses on this block immediately. I crouched behind the kitchen island, listening to frantic footsteps upstairs. Jenna's panicked voice. 14? 15. I slipped toward the basement stairs. If Ethan was predictable, he'd hide down there. I'm coming, Jenna called. The door opened. Dave's boots stomped into the foyer. 17. 18. 19. 20. The bitterness was unmistakable. I crept downstairs, camera ready. There was Ethan crouched behind our water heater in his boxers, clutching his clothes. 21. I whispered, hitting record. 22. He spun around, face white. 23. 24. His mouth opened and closed. Upstairs, Dave was making a production of checking our stove. 25. Ethan's eyes went wide. Here's what's going to happen, I said quietly. You stay here while I talk to my wife. Try to leave. Dave sees you. Try to hide. I find you. Try to lie. I post this video everywhere. I climbed the stairs, leaving him trembling. In the living room, Jenna stood in her robe, arms crossed. Dave examined our fireplace. Found the leak, I announced. They turned. Jenna's face went from confusion to terror. 29. 30. Dave straightened up, grinning. 31. Jenna's mouth worked silently, her mind racing for an explanation. I can explain, she finally whispered. I'm sure you can. But first, let's get Ethan up here so we can all hear the story together. The next morning, I sat in my kitchen drinking coffee and watching Jenna pack her clothes through our bedroom window's reflection in my laptop screen. She'd chosen to leave, at least temporarily, claiming she needed space to think. What she really needed was time to figure out how to spin this disaster to her friends. My phone had been buzzing all morning. Mandy, Jenna's closest friend and biggest enabler, had already called 3 times. Tara, another member of their gossip circle, had sent 2 text messages asking if B6, quote, 35, between Jenna and me. The neighborhood grapevine was faster than fiber optic internet. Dave knocked on my back door around 10 a.m. carrying 2 cups of coffee from the diner downtown. Quote, 36, he said, settling into my kitchen chair. Quote, 37, quote, 38. He grinned. Quote, 39. I pulled up the video on my phone, watching Ethan's terrified face for the 10th time. Think this will hold up if I need it for the divorce? Clear as day. Audio's good too. You got him admitting he was in your house and the timestamp shows it was almost 11 p.m. Dave sipped his coffee. What's your next move? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Lisa Brandt, Ethan's wife. Quote, 43. I told Dave, hitting speaker. Quote, 44. Her voice was steady, controlled, not the voice of a woman who'd just discovered her husband's affair, the voice of a woman who'd been waiting for confirmation. I'm listening. Can you meet me at Riverside Park in an hour? Bring whatever evidence you have. I have some things to share with you, too. After she hung up, Dave raised an eyebrow. That woman's been planning something. Good. I like people with plans. Lisa Brandt was nothing like her husband. Where Ethan was all flash and bluster, Lisa was quiet intelligence. She worked as a forensic accountant, the kind of person who found discrepancies in financial records that everyone else missed. She was also, I realized as I approached her park bench, absolutely furious. How long have you known? I asked, settling beside her. 3 months, maybe longer. She handed me a manila folder. Ethan's been sloppy. Late nights at the gym, unexplained charges on our credit card, new cologne. She paused. Your wife's been calling our house, hanging up when I answer. I opened the folder. Bank statements, credit card records, phone bills, all highlighted in neat yellow marker. Hotel charges, Lisa continued, pointing to the statements. Always on nights when he claimed he was working late at the gym. And look at this. She showed me a series of text messages she'd screenshotted from Ethan's phone. You went through his phone? I'm his wife. I pay for the phone plan. Her smile was ice cold. These are from your wife. Read the timestamps. The messages were from last week. Jenna complaining about me working late, about feeling neglected, about wanting to teach Neil a lesson if he ever found out about them. She was planning to frame you, Lisa said quietly. Make it look like you were abusive or controlling if you discovered the affair. Classic manipulation tactic. My blood ran cold. How do you know that? Because she tried the same thing with Ethan, told him you were emotionally abusive, that she was afraid of you, that she needed protection. Lisa's laugh was bitter. Quote, 63. I stared at the text messages, seeing my wife's manipulation laid out in black and white. This wasn't just an affair. This was a calculated attack on my character, my reputation, my entire life. Quote, 64. I asked. Lisa's smile was sharp as a blade. I want to destroy them both, legally, publicly, and completely. I'm listening. Ohio has alienation of affection laws. I can sue your wife for breaking up my marriage. With this evidence, I'll win. She gestured to the folder. But that's just the legal part. I want them to lose everything else too. Their reputations, their businesses, their friends. Jenna's already started damage control with her friends. Let her try. I have something better than damage control. Lisa pulled out her phone. I have video. The footage was from a hidden camera in Ethan's office at the gym. Lisa had installed it months ago, suspecting he was stealing from the business. Instead, she'd captured something much more valuable. On the screen, Jenna and Ethan were planning their story, how they'd claim I was controlling and jealous. How Jenna would play the victim if I ever confronted them. How they'd turn our entire social circle against me. When was this recorded? 2 weeks ago. I've got hours of footage, Neil. They planned this whole thing. I felt something cold and hard settle in my chest. Not anger anymore. Something much more dangerous. What do you need from me? Help me make sure everyone sees who they really are. The first domino fell on Tuesday morning when Lisa posted a carefully edited video to the Riverside Neighborhood Watch Facebook group. Nothing explicit. Nothing that could get her in legal trouble. Just Jenna and Ethan in his office, with audio of Jenna saying she was tired of pretending to care about Neil's boring life, and Ethan laughing about taking what he wanted. By noon, the post had 43 comments and 67 shares. By evening, Jenna had lost 3 of her regular Pilates clients. I was debugging a network issue when my phone rang. Jenna calling from her sister's house where she'd been staying. "You bastard! You're trying to ruin my business." "I didn't post anything, Jenna. That was Lisa." "You gave her the video." "Lisa had her own videos. Turns out your boyfriend wasn't as careful as he thought." I saved my work and leaned back in my chair. "How's Ethan handling the publicity?" Silence on the other end. "Let me guess. He's not returning your calls." "This isn't over, Neil." "You're right, it's not." She hung up. I immediately called Dave. "Feel like taking a drive?" Ethan's BMW was parked in the gym's lot, tucked into his reserved space like he was hiding from the world. Dave and I pulled up beside it in my Honda, windows down, music playing softly. "Doors unlocked," Dave observed, trying the handle. "Sloppy. Very sloppy." We worked quickly. Dave had brought a bag of gym towels that had been sitting in his truck for a week in the summer heat. I contributed a dozen cans of shaving cream and a bag of glitter I'd bought from the craft store. The towels went under the seats. The shaving cream went into the air vents. The glitter went everywhere else. I left a note on his dashboard. Quote 90. Quote 91. Dave asked as we drove away. Quote 92. I shook my head. Quote 93. But Ethan was angrier than I'd expected. The next morning, he was waiting in our office building's lobby when I arrived for work. Quote 94. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Quote 95. Quote 96. Quote 97. I kept the camera steady on his face. Quote 98. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with his size. Quote 99. Quote 100. Quote 101. Quote 102. I smiled at the camera. Quote 103. Ethan's face was turning red. You don't know who you're messing with. Actually, I do. You're Ethan Brandt, owner of Brandt Fitness, married to Lisa Brandt, father of 2 kids, and recent star of several viral videos showing you hiding in my basement. I paused. Anything else you'd like to add for the record? He lunged for my phone. I stepped back, keeping the camera rolling as he stumbled. Careful, Ethan. Wouldn't want you to hurt yourself on camera. Security approached. Ethan backed away. This isn't over, he snarled. You're right, it's just getting started. That evening, I uploaded the video. Local gym owner threatens customer in office building. Within an hour, it spread across 3 neighborhood Facebook groups. Lisa called around 9. I saw the video. Nice work. I filed the lawsuit this afternoon. Jenna's been served. She paused. And I showed Mandy the footage of Jenna calling her a pathetic housewife who lives vicariously through other people's drama. I sat up. Jenna said that? She said a lot more, about all her friends. Mandy was upset. What's next? Tomorrow I'm meeting with the other wives, the ones whose husbands work out at Ethan's gym. I have footage to share. The confrontation came Friday night. I was grilling when I heard car doors slamming. Dave appeared at my fence. You might want to see this. Jenna stood on my porch with Mandy, Tara, and 2 other women. All looked furious. We need to talk, Jenna announced. Last I checked, you moved out. You've been spreading lies. I've been sharing facts. I pulled out my phone. Want me to play the basement video again? Mandy stepped forward. What you're doing is cruel. Cruel? Mandy, did Jenna tell you what she really thinks of you? I looked at her. She called you a pathetic housewife, said you'd believe any story she told you. Mandy's face went white. Quote 126. Quote 127. My phone buzzed. Dave. Quote 128. Quote 129. Too late. Ethan's BMW roared in, followed by 2 trucks. 6 men climbed out. Dave appeared at my side. This is about to get interesting. Ethan strode across my lawn. Carter, you and me, right now. This is my property. You're trespassing. I held up my phone, recording. Ethan Brandt, you're on my property without permission, making threats, with 6 men for intimidation. Turn off the camera. No. He grabbed for it. I stepped back. Dave moved between us. Back off. Dave smiled. I'm the neighborhood watch coordinator. I noticed other neighbors. Mrs. Henderson recording from her porch, the college kids with phones out, Mr. Patterson watching from his window. Ethan, I said loudly, you're being recorded by at least 6 people right now. He looked around, noticing the audience. His crew looked uncomfortable. You destroyed my marriage. No, you destroyed it when you slept with my wife in my house. I just made sure people knew. You ruined my business. Your business is failing because customers don't want to support a cheater. That's called consequences. Jenna stepped forward. Neil, please, can't we work this out? I looked at her. 6 years of marriage. Work what out? You planned to frame me as abusive. You called your friends pathetic. You answered our door in lingerie for another man. I shook my head. There's nothing to work out. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting milk. What you did was calculated betrayal. Ethan stepped forward. Enough talking. Police sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Dave grinned. I called them when I saw the intimidation squad pull up. 2 patrol cars turned onto our street, lights flashing. Ethan's friends suddenly decided they had somewhere else to be, walking quickly back to their trucks. I recognized the first officer out of the car, Officer Martinez from 2 blocks over. Quote 151. He asked. Quote 152, I said, showing him my phone. Quote 153. Martinez watched the footage, his expression darkening. Quote 154, he told Ethan. Quote 155. Quote 156. Martinez looked unimpressed. Quote 157. Quote 158. Ethan pointed at me. Quote 159. Martinez gestured toward the street. Quote 160. As Ethan retreated, I noticed Jenna's friends whispering furiously. Mandy kept glancing at Jenna with pure betrayal. Is it true? Mandy asked suddenly. Did you really say those things about us? Jenna's silence was answer enough. One by one, her friends walked away. Finally, it was just Jenna standing alone on my lawn. Quote 163, she said quietly. Quote 164. Quote 165. I stopped. Quote 166. Quote 167. Quote 168. Her face crumpled. Quote 169. Quote 170. I walked inside and locked the door. Through the window, I watched Jenna stand in my driveway for 10 minutes before finally driving away. Dave knocked an hour later, carrying 2 beers and grinning. Quote 171. He asked. Quote 172. Quote 173. I thought about it. Jenna's business destroyed. Ethan's gym losing members. Their reputations ruined. Friends gone. The lawsuit would take whatever money remained. Quote 174. I said. Dave raised his beer. Quote 175. We sat on my deck as the sun set. My phone buzzed with notifications. More views, more comments, More shares of the cheating wife and her coward boyfriend getting what they deserved. Tomorrow, I'd start divorce proceedings, change the locks, begin rebuilding. But tonight, I sat with my friend, knowing that sometimes the good guys actually do win.